Best coaches in the game, we really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block, helmets, casket is top. You be seeing helmet after helmet, helmet after helmet. First place, second place, fifth place, eighth place, 12th place, 15, 16, 20. So many helmets, you got blurred vision, we got too many. Take your tech. Oh man, shit. They got us fucked up. Army, regroup. We pledge always to have that edge. We don't fire warning shots. Competition just dropped. We locked and loaded before lock. Whatever the time, yeah. Do you even correlate?
Being the best requires a willingness to outwork your competition. There's always someone smarter, faster, sharper, more naturally gifted to come around.
What up, everybody? It is your boy, DFS Up North. I don't have my mic set up here. It's your boy, DFS Up North, and we are here today talking about Thrive Fantasy. This is your Thrive Fantasy prop playbook brought to you by DFS Army. You know me. If you are a DFS Army sub, I work over there. I run the PGA stuff and do some NFL things as well. I got my week 2 GPP main sheet up with all of those GPP pivots that, if you are looking to get away from the Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes chalk, you can do that and check out that there. If you are not a DFS Army VIP, you can use that code up north for 20% off for the rest of your life, forever. All right. If you already have money on Thrive and you want to become, if you want to become a DFS Army VIP, you can deposit on Thrive and get a $20 match, right? Or not a $20 match. You can do that with mine, but you can deposit on Thrive, email fffootballgeek@gmail.com, and then you'll get a free month of DFS Army VIP. So we are into week 2, and Thrive Fantasy has some fantastic stuff cooking on. But looking back to week 1, we crushed the DFS Army subscribers. The VIPs crushed. We took down places number 1 and 2 in the big $25 contest, which is awesome. Big shout out to Splash and Cuckoo. Those two guys, all they do is win. It's been a lot of fun over there. So I'm going to log in here onto Thrive and show you some of the stuff that we've got going this week. All right. It is, we have our standard props lobby. If you are not familiar with the props lobby, this is my main jam, the money maker. You pick 2 props. If you get them both right, you get 3.6x your money. If you pick 3 props and you get them all right, you get 6.2x your money. I had to think about it there for a second, right? And then if you get all 4, if you pick 4 and get them all right, you get 11x your money. We're going to talk a little bit strategy here about what I am doing over there as well. And then we look at that's my contests. I'm playing some golf today on there because I love the golf contests on Thrive. If we look tomorrow, okay, we got our main slate, NFL week 2. Okay. This is, your standard. You pick 10 out of 20 props, pick 2 in case of emergency props, and it's a lot of, the main games, right? So we're looking at, T.Y. Hilton. So you can have over 70, 67 reception yards. Kirk Cousins over 19.5 completions. Josh Allen, pass and rush yards. And you're picking the over and under, and then the over and under are based on, or have points based on which is more likely to happen. The more likely something is to happen, the less likely, or the less amount of points you'll get, but the less likely something is to happen, the more points you'll get. Typically 50-50 propositions are about 100 points. On either side of it, which is awesome, right? So this is kind of the main contest, right? You want to get as many points as possible. What's the big payout this week? Let's check out the prizes, right? So first place, $3,750, second place, $2,000, third place, $1,250, all right? So we got that. We've got our touchdown props contest. Right? This is TDs only, 7,500 guaranteed. You're only competing against 415 other people. And you're basically just saying, hey, somebody going to score? Is somebody going to not score? So, McCaffrey, rush TDs, over under 100. Julio Jones, reception TDs, over. We're going to smash Julio Jones touchdowns this week, right? We'll talk about that when we kind of look at this product. But they got it for mostly all the receivers and running backs that are big names on the slate, which is a lot of fun, right? You're not having to build an entire roster. You're just having to say like, hey, is so-and-so is Julio Jones going to score a touchdown or not? That's all you have to predict. It is pretty easy. But this, my friends, is the new game mode that we have here on Thrive. This is NFL versus. All right. So how this works is that there's player 1 and player 2. The player on the left side, the player 1, is always going to have a handicap, right? So let me explain this real quick. So like Jimmy Garoppolo versus Tom Brady, and it is total pass yards. So Jimmy Garoppolo gets a handicap of plus 20.5. So whatever Jimmy ends up with, which I think you can end up with a lot. It's a great matchup against the Jets. Whatever he ends up with, you add 20.5 yards onto that. If Tom Brady beats that and you pick him, right? So if Tom Brady throws whatever Jimmy G throws plus 20.5 and he throws more, you pick it, you get 110 points. All right. If you're going to pick Jimmy G in this prop, you get 90 points. All right. And just like the other contest, the team with the most points at the end wins. But here you only have to pick 5 props. All right. So there's 10 total props. You only have to pick 5 of them. So it's pretty interesting, right? We got completions, so is Dak going to have more completions than Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers, we give him plus 2.5 receptions here. Mikey Evans versus Zach Ertz, Daniel Jones versus Phillip Rivers, my favorite prop on the slate. Daniel Jones against Chicago and Phillip Rivers versus Minnesota. Like I'll jump all over Phillip Rivers in past TDs there as well. So here's the other tricky thing though, right? So like we look at past TDs, right? So if that's only 0.5, that might play a trick in your head a little bit because you're like, oh, 0.5, what does that mean? Well, if Phil throws 2 and Daniel Jones throws 2, we get 0.5 to DJ and Daniel Jones now wins that prop and Phillip Rivers loses, right? So you got to think like, okay, is Phillip Rivers going to throw one more full complete touchdown pass than Daniel Jones? All right. An interesting one, Deshaun and Lamar. So how do we go about determining which side is best? All right. And the way that I've had a ton of success here is that I've been able to utilize the DFS Army Research Station and utilize our best in the game projections to determine who is the best play here. And that's what our winners did last week, right? They took down almost $8,000 in prizes because they used the DFS Army Research Station and they watched this video. And if you're a DFS Army VIP, we have chat going on all the time in our Slack talking about, what do these props look like? Who are you on? I sent out my favorite props from the prop playbook last Thursday night. The top 3 hit, right? So if you would have just followed boom, 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 those top 3, you would have 6.2 extra money in the prop lobby. All right. And that's the advantage that you have being a DFS Army VIP. So again, up north, 20% off lifetime subscription to DFS Army. So like I said, we can use the research station to help us determine. So let's look at, okay, first prop we got here, Jimmy G versus Tom Brady. All right, so we got quarterbacks. I'm not going to isolate them. You can do that here, right? I can just like pull up Tom Brady. Actually, maybe I will, because then we can look at them right next to each other. So we'll pull up Tom Brady and Jimmy G plays for San Francisco. Now they should both be in here. All right. So remember, Jimmy G is plus 20.5 in total yardage. All right. So right now, our projections for this week are week 2 projections. We have Jimmy G projected for 262 yards and Tom Brady for 275.7. All right. So that plus 20.5 would put Jimmy G in the lead here. Now, we need to take into account that George Kittle was ruled out earlier today. I'm not sure that these have been updated since that news. That could drop his total projection a little bit, but I do like that Brandon Ayuk's back. I think Kendrick Bourne's a good play this week. So this isn't like my favorite prop to bet, but if I was going to take it, I would take the Jimmy G over with the points or with the handicap here over TB12. I think that TB12 could have a good day, but I'm a little concerned about the running backs kind of going nuts against Carolina, like we saw Josh Jacobs do last week. So maybe that'll hinder TB12's production a little. I think both of these guys are great GPP plays at somewhat low ownership this week. So total rush yards, we got Melvin Gordon plus 7.5 and Todd Gurley just total. So we can slide over to the running back research station here and we can see. All right, let's go back. We'll isolate their teams. Who does Melvin Gordon play for now? The Denver Broncos. That looked okay. That fumble was no good for him, but not bad. And who's he going against here? Todd Gurley, who's got a prime matchup against the Dallas Cowboys in what should be a high scoring game. So how many points? So we got week 2 projections. We got Todd Gurley with 55.8, Melvin Gordon with 48.0. So this is like as close coin flip as it gets. All right. Now, typically in a coin flip, right? Like I want to get the 100 points. I want to get that even money here, like we have in this next prop. All right. So there's not a huge edge here, but I just in terms of understanding game flow and what things are going to look like, I really think that Todd Gurley has a better chance to smash in this spot. So if I was going to take one, it is Todd Gurley here. Let's look at a couple of more here, and then we're going to go into just the main slate. We won't break everything down again, right? I'll give you guys some of my favorite props in there, and then I'll give you one free 4-person bet on the prop lobby that I love, and we'll get out of here, right? So let's look at one more here on the verses. We've got Stephon Diggs versus Adam Thielen, total reception yards. I think Thielen, these guys are former teammates, right? I think that Thielen's in a really good spot this week against this Colts secondary that is not very good. So we got Minnesota and Buffalo. And I think that Josh Allen's just going to run 1,000 touchdowns in, and Stephon Diggs is not going to get as much action. So again, 64.6. What are we giving Diggs here? 6.5, right? They're not, these guys that Thrive, they're smart, right? They're putting it right on the money, right? And that's why it's a 100-point prop, right? So it's one side or the other. I do like the Thielen side here, like I said. But yeah, you want to find out, who's going to project more for pass yards and rush yards. Become a DFS Army VIP, baby, right? Total reception yards, Keenan Allen versus Tyreek Hill. I do like Hill this week, but let's look at that one. That's one that's really interesting to me. I do like Hill this week, but I think Keenan Allen's got just a much better matchup. Chris Harris he's not what he once was, but he's still pretty good in the slot here for the Chargers. LAC. All right, let's bring it up. We got them right next to each other. Our projections have him at. Yeah, so our projections have it right on the money there, about 100 points each. I lean Keenan Allen here, especially because I'm getting 115 points when technically, based on our projections, he is the better play here. He will win this prop if our projections are right. So yeah, I lean Allen. I'll take the points here as well. The next one, Edwards-Helaire versus Eckler. I think that Eckler, the guy's a stud, but I think that Josh Kelly is here to stay. And I think that that's a really good spot for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to win that prop. All right, let's go to the main contest, right? And we'll talk through some of my favorite props there. Oh, I keep clicking on my contests and not prop lobby. All right, this $15,000 guaranteed contest with prize payouts of, right, I think we said $3,000 at first, which is awesome. Yeah, $3,750. Back at 10th place, $100, you 4x your money. But again, if you're entering this contest, you're entering it to try to win that $3,750. And I think that's important to remember, right? If you're just looking to double up or triple up, not even to triple 11x your money, you have to be smashing this prop lobby. It is the best game in DFS right now. I've been screaming it from the mountaintops that this is the best place to play DFS. I love DraftKings. I hate FanDuel. Love DraftKings. I think Super Draft's kind of fun. This is the best place to play DFS. If you want a $20 match on your first deposit, so if it's your first deposit ever on ThriveFantasy, maybe you're watching this video for the first time, you're like, dude, I got to try it out, right? If you want to try it out, use the code DFS up north, and you will get a $20 match on your first deposit. So if you deposit $20, we'll give you $20. If you deposit $40, we'll give you $20, right? So ThriveFantasy will hook you up, and you can start building that bankroll, right? So week one contest. Let's see. Let's make some picks here. So we can go through, and we're just going to cover the quarterbacks first, and then we'll go from there. If I go to RB, it should bring up everybody. Maybe QB matchups. Give me everyone. Oh, I can do this. That'll go faster. Then I get all the quarterbacks on here. Oopsies. But yeah. Use that code, get yourself some free money, right? That's what I know some of those guys did last week that were winners, right? They were first-time depositors. All right. Let's get everybody in here. Why aren't I showing up? There we go. Now we got everybody back. Okay, Matt Ryan. So we had 300 and some yards. This is a prime matchup against the secondary, but our week 2 projections actually have him going under. All right, so what's the under look like here? 100.5. I mean, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I think that's a really good prop. That's maybe, I mean, as we kind of go here, we're going to check it out. But that's one of my favorites. All right. So I like that one right away. Let's look at Kirky Cuz, my boy in Minnesota. I think that this is going to be a big time game. We have 21 pass completions for him. The over under is at 19.5. I don't love the over here. I'm only getting 85 points. I think that's a pretty safe one. So if you're going to get a little bit crazy and you just want to lock in some points, I don't mind that. All right. Carson Wentz against the Rams, 1.5 total pass TDs. So is he going to throw 2 or more? He does get Jalen Reagor back this week, but man, it's a tough matchup for him, even at home. Like their offensive line is terrible right now. We do have him projected for almost 2 touchdowns, 260 yards, thrown it 35 times. You can throw against the Rams. Like you got to avoid Jalen Ramsey, but I don't mind taking the over here if you're going to try to get a little funky. Stafford, interceptions against Green Bay. I would just assume that Matthew Stafford. Yeah, we got him at 0.7, close to almost a full interception. That's an avoid for me. I don't really need the points there. 260 pass and rush yards for Josh Allen. The question with Josh Allen, right, and this is going to influence us, I think, a little bit, is the Dolphins play super slow. All right. And Buffalo doesn't play that fast to begin with either. So our pass yards and rush yards have them at 256. And that's at 260. I think that I don't mind the under here on this because you're getting some points, and that's kind of how you got to win these contests, right? Everybody sees these lines and is like, and I'm guilty of it too. Everybody sees these lines and go, oh, I mean, he's within 2 points. He'll get the over for sure. And the reality is that, you know, a lot of times, especially in week 1, people don't always hit their totals. So Chris Godwin, we'll get to that when they go to the receivers, but I'm not sure that he's active this week. I think he's out already. Benny Roethlisberger, we are projecting him for almost a full interception and a touchdown. That gives us 3, and we have for him 2.5. I love the over here on this. Denver's defense is not bad at all. So I don't mind getting a little bit of action on Benny Roethlisberger, throwing a couple of touchdowns, and James Conner looked terrible last week. So yeah, I don't mind that play at all. Kai Murr, 21 completions against the Washington Redskins. Don't sleep on this Redskins D here, people. I think this Redskins D is kind of legit. I don't think you can. I mean, Kyler Murray could throw 21 passes to DeAndre Hopkins this weekend. So I think I'm going to take the over here. We're at 21.2 in our projections, 21.5. Like, I'll take the over here. Big Patty Mahomes, 303. Obviously well within his, we got him at 315. You know, the way that this doesn't end up happening is that if this game doesn't turn into a shootout like it should. So definitely like Mahomes there. Any other quarterbacks on this slate? Yeah, Russie Wills, pass and rush yards. He's playing New England. I do not like this prop. I mean, I guess maybe anecdotally, I think that New England's still really good, but they're, you know, obviously a much different defense now than they were in the past. Oh, this is the Sunday night game. Yeah. So I got to get this up. Let's get Seattle in here. Did I add them? Where is this Seattle game? There we go. Russie. All right, we got Russell Wilson projected for 263 pass yards and 20 rush yards. That's 283, which is almost exactly there. I'm taking the under here. Again, another slow-paced game. I don't love games like that if we're looking for overs and unders. So that's how I'm doing the quarterbacks. You want to go back in. You want to check out, kind of what these offenses look like. If you want to, do we think that Godwin or Derrick Henry is going to have 115 yards? Yeah. You can check out the DFS Army Research Station if you are a DFS Army VIP. Derrick Henry or Chris Godwin is listed as out, so do not touch this prop, all right? If you do, it's going to fill in your in case of emergency prop, all right? Now comes my favorite part, the props lobby. All right, so we got some NBA ones in there right now, but let's get into the let's get into the props for the main slate on Sunday, right? And these props, they go away as the day goes on. So the 12 o'clock games, once those hit, those guys are gone. But you can still bet on the 3:15s, the 4 o'clocks, and the Sunday night games. All right. So let's take a little look-see here. All right. Zach Ertz, 46.5 total reception yards. That's one that I think I like. But let's take a little look-see and see what the research station says. Especially, we're considering that Deshaun Jackson is in, but Alshon Jeffrey is out again. So we project Ertz at 57.7, and his total here is 46.5, right? So what do? We smash the over. All right. And I know I said earlier that I have some bias and I always pick the overs here. And my screen just disappeared. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Plug back in here, see if that works. Looks like your camera was unplugged. It was. Cam and mic. Go to USB Live. Work. Camera issues. Should be able to still hear me though. So I'm gonna go full screen here until we can